We got a wild Friday Junior ahead. Long story short, man, you pretty much have the tax bill and global bond yields on everybody's mind. Oh, good morning. Hello, do you hear me now? Oh, there it is. Yeah, the mic tripped out. No, I'm good. Good morning. I don't know what part you guys heard or not. Oh, yeah, I've been here. Good morning. Oh yeah. So, yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we had a technical difficulty. But like I was saying, today is all about the bill, all about bond yields. Yesterday, volatility came out of nowhere. We got a passing of the bill, and that's a big deal today. And then now you're going to go back and forth as everybody starts talking about the rates and, oh my gosh, what it means. That Liz Truss moment, we're getting more and more of it. So, yeah, we got the vibe back, baby. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be chill. I hope you're feeling good. I can't believe it cut me out in the morning, but Charadonia. Morning. How are you? How are you doing, Godfather? What up, PNC? Oh, wow, the chat is very fast. James Worley, Mr. Edwards, Ansel, Laurie, El Chapato, Caleb, Humble Business, baby, Super Takeoff, good morning, PK, Marchetti, Mr. Navarro, Monique, Ivy, oh, what up, K-Chan? What up, Tim Whitman? What up, Will Perrell? Good morning, Samuel. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Wheezy. Jennifer, Marcus, Hanlon, Misa, Yon, Hector, Todd Reed. What's up, baby? How you doing, Mr. Jordan? What up, Winnie Lozer? Ashley Johnson, A-Day, Kane, Mr. Realtor Kyson. Good morning. What about the Twitch? Charlie in the tree. Good morning, baby. What up, Stock Sasquatch? Senor Big B. Epic Eric, Blowing Doe, Vasily, Iron Beagle, Payday Devil, Shank Sinatra, Robo Hand Tech, Lord, Green Shoots Only End, Blazing Bob, and El Coyote. Oh, my goodness. Good morning. So, good morning, baby. Oh, yeah. No, I'm already pumped. You have to be pumped. You guys have to remember this music in the background is to remind you of this always calm. Oh, yeah. I hope they feel me. So good morning. Here's Josh AI and the news. Treasuries resume slide after House backs tax bill. Longer dated treasuries and U.S. stock futures return to losses after President Donald Trump's signature tax bill narrowly passed the House. The rate on 30-year debt approached 5.14%, within touching distance of a financial crisis era high. S&P 500 contracts fell 0.3%, pointing to a third day of declines for the U.S. benchmark. The dollar fluctuated while Bitcoin pushed further into record territory. Oil retreated. U.S. lawmakers advanced a sprawling multi-trillion-dollar package that would avert a year-end tax increase at the expense of adding to the U.S. debt burden. The move comes after a downgrade by Moody's Ratings thrust concerns over the ballooning deficit into the spotlight. This has shown up in Treasuries, sapping sentiment after an equity rebound put the S&P 500 on the cusp of a bull market. Bond vigilantes are back. Beata Manthi, a strategist at Citigroup Inc., told Bloomberg TV the market is worried about debt sustainability. It's not very helpful given how strong a rebound we've been seeing in equity markets. The yield for 10-year treasuries advanced 1 basis points to 4.61% on Thursday. The worry in debt markets is that the tax bill would add trillions of dollars to an already bulging deficit at a time when investors' appetite is U.S. assets is waning. Rising yields have been manageable for equity markets when tied to stronger growth, said Mathieu Rachter, head of equity strategy at Julius Baer. However, higher rates driven by inflation fears or fiscal concerns tend to undermine equity valuations. Strategist Mark Cranfield says, passage for the legislation won't trigger an immediate rush toward 5% for 10-year treasuries, but it will add momentum to the steady upward climb taking place as bond vigilantes demand a bigger premium for holding U.S. bonds. Later on Thursday, S&P Global will issue its preliminary May survey of manufacturing and service providers. Based on economists' projections, industrial weakness probably continued, while growth in services activity may have picked up slightly. Weekly jobless claims data is also due. JP Morgan Chase and company chief Jamie Dimon has said he can't rule out the U.S. economy will fall into stagflation as the country faces huge risks from both geopolitics, deficits, and price pressures. I don't agree that we're in a sweet spot, Dimon told Bloomberg TV in Shanghai. Bitcoin surpassed $111,000 for the first time, with traders increasingly bullish on the prospects of the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and the crypto market in general have largely decoupled from equities over the last few days, said Richard Galvin, co-founder of hedge fund DACM. Bitcoin continues to benefit from its market position as a non-system store of value. Oil declined as OPEC Plus members discussed the possibility of another supersized production increase. Brent fell below $64 a barrel after shedding about 1% over the previous two sessions. West Texas Intermediate neared $60. Corporate highlights: Toronto Dominion Bank beat estimates after setting aside less money than expected for souring loans, despite concerns that U.S. tariffs will hamper economic growth. Nike Inc. shares rise in pre-market trading as the company returns to Amazon.com's online store after leaving it in 2019. BYD company sold more electric vehicles in Europe than Tesla Inc. for the first time, overtaking the American brand that's long led the continent's EV segment. NG Group NV is exploring the possibility of acquiring a U.S. banking license, a move that could bolster its access to dollar liquidity in exchange for greater supervision by U.S. regulators. Atant Inc. agreed to buy the consumer fiber operations of Lumen Technologies Inc. for $5.75 billion, expanding its fast broadband service in major cities like Denver and Las Vegas. Rio Tinto Group has started the hunt for a new chief executive officer after announcing that Jakob Stausholm will step down later this year. Manchester United PLC shares are set for their steepest drop in more than 8 months after the football club lost an all-or-nothing Europa League final against English rival Tottenham Hotspur. Vigilantes are stirring. The warnings from the world's biggest bond market on the U.S. fiscal mess are getting louder. On Wednesday, investors drove yields on benchmark 30-year treasuries to as high as 5.1%, leaving them just shy of a 2-decade high and sparking declines in stocks and the dollar as administration officials met with Republican lawmakers to hammer out a deal to enact tax cuts. The yield stabilized today at 5.09%. The concern is that the bill would add trillions of dollars to already bulging budget deficits at a time when investor appetite is waning for U.S. assets across the globe. OPEC Plus discusses another supersized output hike for July. OPEC Plus members are discussing making a third consecutive oil production surge in July, to be decided at the group's meeting in just over a week, delegates said. An output hike of 411,000 barrels a day for July, triple the amount initially planned, is among options under discussion, although no final agreement has yet been reached, said the delegates, asking not to be named because the information is private. A final decision is due to be taken at a gathering on June 1st. Eurozone private sector unexpectedly shrinks on services. Private sector activity in the euro area unexpectedly shrank in May as services recorded their worst performance in 16 months. The Composite Purchasing Managers Index by S&P Global fell to 49.5 from 50.4 in April, dipping below the 50 threshold separating expansion from contraction. Data Thursday showed analysts had predicted a slight increase to 50.6. The Eurozone economy just cannot seem to find its footing, Cyrus de la Rubia, an economist at Hamburg Commercial Bank, said in a statement. While foreign demand for services is softening, it is the sluggish domestic demand that seems to be dragging the sector down. And Trump floats a public offering for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac's. President Donald Trump said Wednesday evening that he was giving very serious consideration to bringing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac public after more than a decade of being under government oversight. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are doing very well, throwing off a lot of cash, and the time would seem to be right, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. Stay tuned. He added that he would consult with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, along with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Bill Polt, the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which oversees Freddie and Fannie, as he comes to a decision. And the companies, which play a crucial role in the market for mortgage-backed securities, have been under government conservatorship since the 2008 financial crisis. Fannie and Freddie have both returned to steady profitability, with earnings being retained. Top overnight news, Washington. Trump's tax bill advances toward House vote after clearing a key hurdle, NY Times, Politico, Reuters. House Republican leaders release new version of reconciliation bill with higher SALT deduction limit. Washington Post, Bloomberg. House Republican leaders working to resolve divisions over Medicaid and green energy provisions in tax bill. Bloomberg. Trump says he is considering taking Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae public. Bloomberg, Axios. CMS announces significant expansion of auditing efforts for Medicare Advantage. Statement. Trump administration requests Supreme Court to block disclosure of DOJ records. Reuters. 12 U.S. states suing to block Trump's emergency tariff powers, claiming they exceed authority, hurt local economies. Reuters, trade tariffs. Commerce Secretary Lutnick predicts numerous trade deals by midsummer, asserting tariffs won't raise retail prices. Axios. Treasury Secretary Bessent and Japan Finance Minister Kato did not discuss FX during their meeting. Bloomberg. G7 finance ministers try to seek common ground on issues ranging from non-tariff barriers to China's non-market practices. Reuters. U.S. businesses face pressure to import goods amid paused tariffs, navigating complex customs regulations. Bloomberg. Reuters. Retailers respond differently to rising prices from tariffs. Walmart plans increases while Target aims to absorb costs. Axios. CEOs use euphemisms to discuss tariff impacts, avoiding Trump's anger while informing investors. NY Times. U.S. to maintain efforts to keep advanced AI chips out of China despite NVIDIA's call to ease restrictions. Bloomberg. Beijing pushing to advance rapidly in China-built robotics, satellites, and AI as it looks to close gap with the U.S. WSJ. Trump's Apple threat impacts India's tariff negotiations, leveraging years of investment against China. NY Times. Canadian officials highlight deep trade ties with U.S. in discussions to secure favorable tariff terms in talks with Bessent. Reuters. West J. EU expected to share revised trade proposal with U.S. Bloomberg. EU offers Trump a fresh lobster deal to defuse trade war. FT. Markets. Bond market increasingly reflecting fears around U.S. debt load, tax cuts, and deficit spending. FT. Bloomberg. Reuters. New York Times. Bitcoin hits record high following advancement of stablecoin regulation. FT. Bloomberg. Reuters. Economy. Economists still forecasting U.S. growth slowdown in 2025, though recession likelihood drops following China trade detente. Reuters. J.P. Morgan's Diamond warns of U.S. stagflation risks, suggesting tariffs and tax cuts could lead to inflation and no growth. Bloomberg. Eurozone business activity contracted as services demand fell despite manufacturing stabilizing. Reuters. Bloomberg. German business sentiment improves as fiscal optimism offsets trade concerns. Bloomberg. UK private sector contracted in May, impacted by Trump's tariffs with declining orders and job losses. Bloomberg. UK consumer confidence rises in May as trade deals and growth boost outlook, WSJ. Japan manufacturing contraction eases, services activity slows, Reuters. Japan backpedaling on primary budget target, adding to fiscal concerns and bond yield pressures, Nikkei. New Zealand budget projects wider deficits, unveils tax incentive for businesses, Bloomberg. Reuters. Singapore GDP growth tops expectations, though government flags recession risk amid tariff uncertainty, Bloomberg. Corporate, an OpenAI to acquire Johnny Ive's AI startup and aims to begin shipping AI devices by late 2026, Axios, Bloomberg. WSJ. Nike to raise prices on footwear, apparel, and equipment, plans to sell on Amazon again, Bloomberg. CNBC. Reuters. Walmart eliminating around 1,500 jobs, mostly in technology team, Bloomberg. Atant to acquire consumer fiber operations of Lumen Technologies for $5.75 billion, Bloomberg. Honeywell to acquire Johnson Matthey's Catalyst unit for $2.4 billion, Link. Amazon shareholders rejected climate-related resolutions at the annual meeting, Reuters. Nestle is refocusing on its core business as CEO signals strategic overhaul amid economic pressures, Reuters. CoreWeave raises $2 billion in junk bonds, exceeding expectations despite economic concerns, FT. Central banks, BOJ Dove Noguchi downplays need for major changes to tapering plan, cautious on market intervention, Bloomberg. Reuters. ICE. ECB set for June rate cut, but pause looms as higher euro energy prices complicate forecast inflation outlook, Reuters. Bloomberg. Geopolitics. Trump told European leaders on Monday he doesn't believe Putin is ready to end Ukraine war. Our Link. Ukraine will urge the EU to isolate Moscow by seizing assets and sanctioning Russian oil buyers, Reuters. Sources say Israel preparing to strike Iran's nuclear facilities if U.S.-Iran negotiations collapse, Axios. Energy. OPEC Plus considers a third consecutive oil production increase in July, sources say, Bloomberg. No way. Did it again? Oh, man. Hello. Well, yeah. I don't know where it cut out. S&P futures, they're down by 0.3 Thursday morning trading, reversing earlier strength. Comes after U.S. equities sold off on Wednesday with major indexes down over 1.4. Financials, managed care, rate-sensitive pockets, retail favorites, and most shorted among the worst performers. Treasuries mixed with the curve steepening after a big backup in rates. 30-year touched 5.15, highest level since October 23. Dollars up by 0.1 after losing 0.5 in the prior session. Gold is down by 0.1, and Bitcoin futures up by 2.4, with WTI off of by 1.5 after the latest OPEC Plus headline. Bonds are still the big area of focus, with renewed upward pressure on longer-term yields following some earlier stabilization. Somewhat intertwined unwinding of U.S. exceptionalist trade and deficit dynamics continue to be flagged as the big drivers, along with sticky inflation and resilient hard data. Deficit concerns are in the headlines again, with House passing the Republican reconciliation bill. Other big story today has revolved around oil weakness and potential for another ramp in OPEC production in July. Trade headlines a bit more upbeat, with Letnick talking about expectations of a mid-summer flurry of deals, productive talks between U.S. and Canada, and no discussion of forex levels in U.S.-Japan talks. However, concerns that the market is too complacent on tariff headwinds following recent U.S.-China de-escalation. Latest earnings takeaway have a lean positive, but not a broader market tailwind. Initial jobless claims for May 17th. It came in at 227, a bit below the 230. Continuing claims for the week of May 10th, 1.903 million, higher than consensus of 1.89. Flash manufacturing and service PMIs and existing home sales on the calendar today. Flash PMIs expected to slip to 49.8. You get Fed speak, Waller, existing home sales, Fed President Williams on Friday alongside new home sales and Fed Musalim. AT&T. Ooh. AT&T to acquire bulk of mass market fiber business from Lumen for $5.75 billion. Honeywell to acquire Johnson Matthey Catalyst Technology business for $1.8 billion in cash. Nike reportedly raising prices in response to tariffs and will start selling on Amazon again. Snow beat and raise with takeaways focused on strong product revenue growth, bookings, and no macro impact. Zoom quarter one ahead. Company raised full-year guide and had positive commentary on new products, so they talked about heightened scrutiny on elongated deal cycles and enterprise. RL beat and expects flat full-year gross margins at cost. Material savings offset by tariffs. Urban up big with Q1 comp sales, GM, and EPS all ahead. PBI named new CEO and plans to conduct strategic review. Medicare names Humana, CVS, and UNH on the defensive, with CMS announcing significant expansion of auditing of MA plans. Trump said giving serious consideration to taking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac public. Wow. Good morning. Oh, yeah, Chad. So we got some pre-market movers. Oh, wow, we got to hurry up, I think. I think we're just enjoying it. See, we're just taking our sweet time. Good morning. Good morning. So you got some pre-market movers. Snowflake is up by 8.7 off earnings. ADI is up by 3.1 earnings. BJ 3.0 earnings. WSM 1.8 off earnings. RL 1.6 off earnings. NXPI is up by 1.2. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae up 50. Trump comments on taking public. AAP is up by 35 off earnings. Urban up 16 off earnings. PBI new CEO up by 9.2. Lumen sells business to AT&T up by 9.2. LX is up by 4.0 off earnings. Dan is up 2.5. RBC Capital Markets upgrade. Vigil up 242. Sanofi to acquire for $8 a share. NVTS up 160 to collaborate with NVIDIA on next generation 800V architecture. KDLY is up 16. Strategic Bitcoin partnership with Nakamoto Holdings. TIL is up by 8. Clinical trial update. SLDB up 7. Cantor assumes overweight. ASMC is up by 3.6 off earnings. Bitcoin related stocks trading higher, trading lower. HIMS is down by 9 in reaction to Cigna. Evernorth introduces Wegovy Zepbound for $200 a month. Humana down 6.1 on CMS. ESLT down 4.9, 1.5 million share offering. CVS, UNH both down 3 on the CMS update. GWRE down 1.7, DA Davidson downgrade. Marvel down 1.3, Mulus Research downgrade. Manu down 6.5, lost the soccer game. SOC down 5.3, 200 million common stock offering. Laser 200 million stock offering down 5. URGN down 4, downgrade. And renewables down after House passes bill with significantly less favorable tax credits. Wow. Look at that, Chatadonia. Look at that. Yeah, they went down on a soccer game, like actually. That funny. And then, bro, somebody got shot in front of the CIA. A plane crashed in San Diego into a residential building. And then yesterday, somebody got shot in D.C. outside of an embassy. So, yeah, that's also happening too. But Chatadonia, you know what time it is. It's a beautiful day. I don't know. We've never done it with the music in the background. But this does bring peace to my heart. And I'm not talking about the music. I'm talking about this great country. All of the opportunity that we have. I am here today. My parents came from another country. And I am here talking to you many years later. And that is a blessing. But my parents came to this country. And this was the biggest goal that they could think of. Because we have freedom. And we wouldn't have freedom if there wasn't amazing Americans that came before us and sacrificed everything. That is why every morning, before we chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made the sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I'm talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of the cult, the people here, the people not here, want to give a huge shout out, and we do it every day, but I really do hope that you take this into real life. I hope that you go out in the real world and you bring this culture and you show love, and your voice matters. And I'm telling you, we've already seen some changes. So when it's all said and done, we are in debt to those who have given everything. So veterans, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody should be getting a crib, a long-term, anything of that nature, it should be you. So let us help out with it. But God bless you and thank you. And big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to their local communities. All the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men. Anybody making their communities run, baby. God bless you and thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Son of the church! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horn on. Oh, how does the horn sound when you have? I've never done the horn with the music. Oh man, I'm still so peaceful. Are you ready? Do you understand, Chad? You're a psycho. Game time. I need you so relaxed, ready to go. And then when shit start flying, all you think about is execution. Let them make, do you understand me? You're a different breed, brother. Yeah, I don't care. Fuck them. I don't care if there's Gen Pop. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, amen. No, I hope you feel me, bro. Be cool, but be ready to go. That's it. That's how it all go, baby. So, Chad, I love you. And God bless the veterans. You know that? Seriously. If you don't bring this to real life culture, you failed me. You know that? If you ain't honoring the vets, if by the time I die, this isn't the coolest thing in the world, you know what I'm saying? You failed me. So let's go, baby. And thank you, veterans. I will see you all in Gen Pop. Game time. And good morning.